All right, so we're recording. All right, so you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, all good though.
Okay, cool. So we got through recording the Nexus IRL video. Now we're going to do the creative writing episode featuring Fugnuck. Fugnuck, say hello.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, man. So I made like a really high level list of some of your skill sets or the skill sets that you're also looking to develop.
Oh,
And
yes, yeah.
you know Blender, and I already saw you posted some stuff about adding the lightsaber special effect, right?
That's right, yeah.
So
It was a bit of an attempt.
you've already done that. You've already checked that one off, right? And then digital asset creation, like in Blender, you can make like a lightsaber, which is something that you can like Photoshop into somebody's hand, or you can make a starship from scratch, and then that way we can use that digital asset in special effects. Is that fair?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
and
all.
then you're looking at the plugin that you used to use to make landscapes isn't around anymore, but you're looking for alternatives. So you would also be able to make exterior, interior, landscape, and cityscape stuff we could put on a green screen and put the characters in front of. Is that correct?
Exactly. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at an app a couple of days ago that you can have for your phone,
Yeah.
where you can take a picture of like say, for instance, a living room, and it would
Right.
map it out for a program like Blender. So that's a good thing to work from.
Ooh.
I thought that's pretty sick.
No,
I'm
that's
gonna play
awesome.
with it.
That's one of and we'll get into that with why I'm doing this project. But the technology's at the point where it's just like a couple
It's
of guys
crazy.
can put their heads together and really make
Oh
something.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you've got some writing skills, and your credentials are there is that you're a huge nerd, and based off of our discussion, if they offered a master's degree in the UK for Star Wars, you'd already have one.
That'd be it.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. All right. Well, let's get through the meeting agenda. We'll talk about the overall goals and stuff. Then we'll kind of dive into what I've got so far, and then there's so much other stuff that needs to be done. So as I'm going through this, stop me if you want to ask some questions, or take some notes about keep all these things in mind. And as I'm explaining things, just like write down your ideas or your extra questions and stuff, and then we'll explore all those. And then we'll set out some specific goals once we figure out like, okay, these are the things that you're excited about. Like here's the things that you want to take over, and then like that'll inform me of the things that I need to work on. And then we'll set some goals. And you're super busy. I'm dealing with health issues, so I don't expect us to get like a ton of shit done or have like very stringent deadlines or anything. But it's always nice to set just kind of a soft goal out there. So it's easier for me anyway. And then we'll go over any feedback that you might have, and we'll conclude the video, and then we can talk about next episode. How's that sound?
That's all good.
All right. Well, like Fug and I were talking about earlier, the technology is at the point to where you don't need a $100 million studio to make quality stuff anymore. You need some professional grade equipment and a little bit of learning, and you can pull off some cool stuff. I think Fug, didn't I link you a video where the guy basically recreated a scene from one of the latest Star Wars
That's
films,
right.
and he did it with like his buddy and a drone and their phone, and
Yeah, I think it was in
he's like a
Norway
young
as
man.
well.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
just like a young
he's a
man with
good
his
guy.
brother and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna check out that guy's channel some more. So it's just it's proof that, I mean, that's the proof of concept basically, right? It's not, I'm like not making this shit up. Like somebody did post a YouTube video, recreated something from one of the latest Star Wars movies, looked better in my opinion, and he probably did it for 1/1000th of the cost. You know what I mean? So that's where we're going with this. All right, so you're a Star Wars nerd, so we'll talk about the timeline. So we're gonna do the Legends lore, or the non-mouse lore, the non-Disney lore, and the time frame. Because one of the things that I've seen people complain a lot on the internet is that like there's this great timeline and all these details and stories and stuff, and they just got rid of the entire extended universe and they've like stolen ideas from it, but they've poorly implemented them. So one of the challenges, one of the writing challenges, and one of the things that we hope is going to bring quality or add quality to the project is working within the already established lore. And so you've got like the Old Republic timeline, and then if you've ever played, was it KOTOR 1 and maybe part of 2, like Revan and Malak attack the Republic, and they thought that was like the Sith. They thought they actually called it the Jedi Civil War after the Sith Empire ended up attacking, because I think right when they attacked, they thought it was the Sith. It wasn't actually like the Sith Empire that attacked them. So the story that I want to tell is going to take place after Revan and Malak's attack, but before the true Sith Empire attacks. And as far as I can tell, that's a gap of 279 years. So I figure we set the story maybe like 100 years after, and that way, like, you know, the damage is repaired, and things have like kind of calmed down a bit, and then we can escalate from there. How's that? Does that make sense? That timeline?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. We do this, and we if we do it in the setting, we get a bunch of, we eventually, because I want to keep the scope small for starters, because we don't have a ton of money and our skills aren't there or whatever yet. But eventually we can have like a bunch of Force users, and a lot more characters that are using special effects and stuff. But we're not there yet. I know Star Wars Theory, the guy that does Theory Sabers and stuff. He likes to make content, like he likes to, like, Vader's his thing. He likes to make fan short films like Vader. He's got a really good one with like Vader and the Emperor. But the part of this exercise and why we're doing this project is to practice making our own thing. So yeah, it'll be, characters, it'll be inside of the Star Wars setting, but we want to get practice of like making new characters, and we'll reference characters during this time frame. So the super lore savvy people might hear a line of dialogue or see some sort of bulletin or poster in the world and know, oh, that's what's going on elsewhere in the world, or in the universe. And then so what I've got so far is like the backstory, and then the plot below is something that we can like expand out to. So everything that I'm going to talk about is basically like either the first season or the first novel or the first movie or however you want to call it. But it'll be the two main characters are going to be a crime detective duo in the underbelly of Coruscant. Okay, you with me so far? We've got the jaded cop or investigator who kind of has like the heart of gold, and he doesn't really like droids. And his department's been downsized because they've been super successful. Like all of the he basically works like Coruscant's version of Vice. Only for the spice trade, so maybe we just call it Spice instead of Vice. So he works Spice for Coruscant, and Spice is like the narco dealers in the Star Wars universe. There's a subplot in here that his because they are successful, and they like the Spice Wars start right after the Jedi Civil War, because it's right after war, and there's a lot of criminal and gang activity, and the spice is like the drug that they're selling, and so you get all like the basically narco wars, and eventually his department cleans all of that up, and then they basically slowly downsize his department. Because things get better. Like basically one crime lord gets away. They're able to nail all of the other crime lords but one, and one of them gets away. And when that one gets away, things like kind of calm down. Like the gang wars and stuff aren't happening. the dealers and stuff are staying in like the lower levels and not around like economic zones or where like children are or anything like that. I mean, it really does, you know, calm down, and his department continues to get downsized because of that. So it's actually down to like just him, his partner, his human partner, retires, and they try to force him to retire. He's like, no, I'm going to get this one last crime lord, the guy that got away, the guy that caused some of my buddies to die, and that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, here's a detective droid, even though you hate droids, and he's going to be your partner, and he's going to help you. And that's where the story starts. Yeah, thoughts so far?
That's pretty good. I mean, that's something I would already like if I saw a clip of.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be fully invested.
Oh, awesome.
I mean, it's bringing in like memories of stuff like I don't know if you've ever seen Kojak or Starsky and Hutch kind of vibes.
Oh, that's yeah. The buddy cop, definitely doing the
yeah.
kind of the buddy cop trope.
Exactly.
With the Star Wars twist. Yeah, good.
That'd be sick.
I'm glad. Okay, so now that we've kind of got everything established, all right. We start the story off as like they've just been introduced. He just got this droid assigned to him, and then I should say, you know, it's just your stand, like a, you know, we'll design a special droid or whatever, but it'll just, you know, kind of look something like that, right? And the detective duo will get a lead from some old source, and then they'll finally have a successful stakeout. Okay, and they find out where the smugglers are delivering the spice to. Like they don't bust the shipment, right? They want to track the shipment to find. Okay, they know where the smugglers are bringing it in, but where are they taking it after the smugglers deliver it, right? That's the question. And then we can play around with the character. He can be a little dirty, right? So we could have a scene where the cop gets dirty with interrogation. Maybe he forces one of the gangers to overdose on spice, and like, you know, holds the Narcan from him until he tells him what he wants to know. Like alternatively, we could have him like capture one of the junkies and just like keep him in holding until the withdrawals kick in, and like that's his form of torture. But like, then how does his droid react to that? So these are the kind of things that I would want to explore in the story between those two characters. You see what I mean? Like he's doing like an ends justifies the means thing. Like how does the droid react? Like he probably starts quoting regulations and stuff. Don't tell me the regulations, you know, we can do all that kind of stuff with it. And then, but eventually, you know, as the relationship develops and the droid has some wins, the detective kind of warms up to him, and that'll kind of be their interpersonal character arc. And I thought we could have this heartwarming scene where the detective, like, because it's just like the robot, right? So I thought we could have this heartwarming scene where the detective ends up giving the robot a coat and a hat, so the droid can like put it on, right? And then they're both in the same uniform or whatever. Because before the droid was like keeping his badge in a little slot or something because there wasn't anything to hang the badge from. So he gives him the coat so you can hang the badge from the coat, just like the inspector. And you know what I mean? Just these little details. And then while they're scoping out the operation, they're trying to find, and I'm calling him like the shadow crime boss. Okay. And they find out where the shipments are getting delivered. But right when that happens, like a new gang, because they you know, normally they've got their, you know, finger on the pulse of the criminal underground because it's so minor. Suddenly a bunch of new players show up and attack that spice shipment and steal it. And they're like, well, where the hell is all this coming from? And then shortly after, there's new reports of more gang violence. And it's starting to escalate again, like back when the spice wars were going on, where there were multiple crime lords. Okay, so we also need to have a character that's like a conspiracy theory hacker, and he works with the detective duo to provide them information they can't get elsewhere. So they finally get over to the hacker man's place, and the hacker man's like, I can explain the recent escalation in activity, because the hacker man shows how all of the data that they've given him of where the shipments are going and where the shadow crime boss eventually retreats to, it's the Jedi Temple. So the detective rolls into the Jedi Temple with the buddy cop sidekick. Okay, now here we can have the scene where like we could riff off the scene in Empire where he's sitting in the meeting room in the Jedi Temple and the doors open and it's the crime lord, and then like they jump up. And like they point like that's the crime lord, and then the Jedi basically, because it turns out the crime lord, the shadow crime lord, is actually a Jedi, and he'll just like force push them back in their seats and tell them to sit down. And it turns out that the Jedi took over the spice trade to minimize loss and control the flow, to keep harm at a minimum. And then, we can throw something in there like a millennia ago, they tried legalizing it, but the effects on society were too detrimental. So we've got like this shadowy Jedi figure who took over the entire narco black market in Coruscant just so they could easily keep a lid on it. How do you like that idea?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Okay.
That's got a good twist to it there.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right. Now here's the thing. Okay, so they figure all this out, but things are still escalating, right? So now they team up with the Jedi, who is technically the Shadow Crime Lord, to start figuring out where all this escalations come from. So we can like repeat the series of investigative steps that the duo took by themselves, but this time they're speed running it because they have a Jedi with them. It's gonna be great. So we can, yeah.
Just
I hear the
go
chuckle.
down.
I hear the chuckle. I hear the chuckle. You get it. All right. So and then to make matters worse, it's not just the spice. There's new chems. There's chems and stems that have like dangerous military applications. The local long-term gangs are suddenly becoming very well armed. Shipments of more than just spice cargoes are getting knocked over, instead of just attacking the spice shipments and stealing those. They'll knock over like things that are alarm like the Jedi and the Republic, like shipments of highly valuable metals used in manufacturing, chemical catalysts, cyber tech, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So we're raising the stakes now. Okay. The buddy cop duo and the Shadow Crime Lord Jedi team up to try and put a stop to it. Long story short, they end up running into like the rival crime lord, and the Jedi goes to arrest the rival crime lord, and it turns out to be a Sith, and the Sith ends up killing the Jedi, cutting off the arm of the detective and force crushing the detective droid, and then putting her hood up and walking away, and that's where we end season 1. So, and then the idea is so that's season 1, because the overall idea is like the Sith Empire is going to be sending operatives over to Coruscant and other planets in the Republic to destabilize them in preparation for the attack. You see what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So later, season 2, I've kind of got like a rough outline of that. He like the guy, gets like a prosthetic arm, repairs the droid, and basically turns into like Captain Ahab. And really like digs in and tries to find out what's going on, but nobody believes him because the Sith already attacked. Get it? the Revan and Malak were defeated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. And then in season 3, we should have our skill sets and enough assets and everything put together. Now we can flip it around. We can have like a ragtag bunch of Republic operatives, including this detective duo, go over to a planet that they don't know is in the Sith Empire, but then we can start showing Sith society because they're trying to infiltrate it. So how's that for the storyline? Are you excited? Are you hooked? You want to work on this project
right,
with
man.
me?
I want to know more.
Okay. All right, great. All right,
send me this shit.
awesome. Yeah. So characters so far, we definitely need more characters. So the ones that I'm going to go over real quick are all the ones that are like crucial to the story. We definitely need more of them. I got a couple ideas. So we've got the detective. We've kind of already talked about him. You know, we got a lawful good character. He plays the bitter old man role well, but he's got a heart of gold because, you know, you'll see him smiling at like families enjoying life in the park, or he'll buy food for the little street urchin that he passes on his way to the office and stuff. You know what I mean? And then we've got the droid that's assisting the detective. I figured we call him W40-RU, and we just call him RU for short instead of R2. RU, very Star Warsy. And then we got the conspiracy theory hacker man. It's Slicer in the extended universe parlance. So we got the conspiracy theory Slicer man. And then we've got the shadow crime boss, who turns out to be a very, very unconventional good Jedi. And then the new rival crime boss should be the one that we were going to get if George Lucas did Episode 7. Like these are some concept arts of the femme fatale Sith, one of the femme fatale Sith characters, like a sexy female Darth Maul. We were supposed to get that in one of the next Star Wars, as if Lucas hadn't sold it. So we're bringing her back. We're bringing her in. So those are all the characters. I figure we need. Okay. So let me pull this up real quick. There is. Where did I write all that down? There's an EMS character. So like, anyway, what are your thoughts so far? I don't want to go down another path without getting your feedback.
No, I'm liking that already. Okay. That's the problem is my mind's going all over the place. I don't want to say too much, but yeah, I'm liking the detective guy because you've not seen that before,
right?
In Star Wars, as far as I know, like you've got the Mandalorian, right. And
which he did a Western, right? And that's what made
the Mandalorian
that's right. So great.
Clint Eastwood,
right? Right. Well, that's what made the Mandalorian so great. Was like you had a Western in the Star Wars universe.
That's right.
So now, like, it's like we can do like a crime detective noir.
Exactly.
In the Star Wars universe, you know, and you know, nobody's even going to see a lightsaber until, you know, a couple episodes in, and you know what I mean? Like, lightsabers are really cool, but like they overuse them too, if you ask me.
Yeah, too right.
Okay, so one of the things, because as I was telling you all this stuff, I think one of the, let me write this down. Whoops. Let's do, and I'll give you a link to this so you can reference it whenever you want. I'll add you to this project and this software and stuff.
Oh, that's great.
So let's do next steps, and then I'll give you a tour of all this stuff later. Like you can tell I've put some time into this. Right.
That's good shit, man.
So next steps, we're gonna say Nexius, clean up and organize all notes, plots, scripts, ideas into Confluence. That's this place right here is Confluence. So I'm going to get everything in here and get it all cleaned up. And then begin making lists of individual assets, like items needed for the production. Okay, so what I need to get it. I've got like I shared that Google Doc with you. I basically need to go through that Google Doc and pull everything out of there and put it into here, organized, basically.
Yeah.
And then after I get done doing that, I need to go through everything, and I need to get like a spreadsheet, and I need to be like, okay, we're working on season 1. Season 1 is in Coruscant. What do we need for Coruscant? Okay, well, we need the cityscape. We need a shot of the Jedi Temple. We need shots of like street level. We need shots of like under street level. All those different. We need we need this object. We need this background character. We need that kind of stuff. So I think if I do those two things, And then I can work with you and anybody else who wants to help and join the projects. Be like, hey, look, Fug, we need a specially designed lightsaber for the new crime boss and the shadow crime boss, which is the Jedi. So I need you to make me a shadow crime boss Jedi lightsaber. I would recommend purple because he's kind of skirting the line there as far as like the Force goes. He's a little dark, but he's not of the dark side. You know what I mean? And then the crime boss, obviously the new rival crime boss with the red lightsaber, right? And then maybe you want to design, like, I'm not married to any of this stuff, so if we want to like redesign the droid or whatever, these are all just stuff I threw some text into the AI and said just make me some concept art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So that's like I don't even know what I want the Jedi Shadow Crime Boss to look like, or what type of like extra character or mannerisms they should have. So like this character needs to be fleshed out. The conspiracy theory hacker needs to be fleshed out. Like even the droid, insofar as like because if you watch the Star Wars, like each droid even has like its own set of sound effects. Like R2D2, when he's walking, you hear the and then like depending on which transportation mode R2's in, it's either that long drone when he's on his wheels or it's that that shuffling sound when he's walking around. So like, how does the droid move and what sounds do we need to go with? All these tiny little details that'll add up. So I think that's what I'll do before we really, obviously continue to practice on and work on all the things that you want to for this project. One other thing I'll state for the viewers and for you too is that one of the goals is to make sure we make everything from scratch, or the people that add any content to this project have made it from scratch, because I don't want to be accused of like Disney or Lucasfilm because like we took a TIE fighter model out of the KOTOR 2 assets and now we can be sued. You know what I mean? If we make it by hand, if we make it ourselves, they can't do that because we made it. You know what I mean?
Definitely not.
Right. So just one of the stipulations there. Okay. So how's that sound? And then I'll end up making let me write that down too. So because we're going to need writing, it'll be characters, writing, plot points, it'll be cityscapes, scenes, objects, equipment, droids, characters. We'll only need to design 1 or 2 ships for starters. Like eventually, like when we get to like season 6 or whatever, that's when we have like the Sith Empire, like, building up and like the big full scale battles and shit like that. But
yeah.
Like we gotta get to that. You know what I'm saying? Ships and all that kind of. Okay, so that'll be a good start. So I'll get the next episode that we do, I will have these things finished, and then you and I can sync up again, and you can basically bite off what you want to chew on, basically. See, I got all this organized to just props, and then the other reason that we're doing the Star Wars stuff is because there is already a lot of Star Wars stuff out there. So, instead of needing to make the thing myself and I need a Sith holocron, I can just order one off of Etsy.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, and it's like this person has already like put in a lot of work to make these look nice. So, I don't need to like reinvent the wheel and make my own. I'll just order one from here. But that's the great thing about doing the Star Wars project, because we can cut corners like that. Like if I'm going to do my own project of like my own stuff, well, nobody knows what kind of stuff I have in my universe, so I got to make it. You know what I mean? We got we got sci-fi droid robot conceptualized panel.
Oh,
so this is the thing that they interface with. And I mean, they got the light switches there, but I'm getting a 3D printer, so I could like make this panel, and then like we could have the thing where the droid sticks its little thing and it twists around like they do in the Star Wars, all the little Star Wars things. Okay. Oh, did I not? There we go. Update. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you're excited about the project. I feel like maybe I could have had this done ahead of time. Nah, not with everything going on. But I think this will be a lot of fun. And like, you know, as far as like time frame goes and stuff, like I'm not quitting my day job, and you got a kid on the way and all that stuff, or maybe I'll cut that part out if you want me to.
Oh no, that's all good, man.
Yeah, you got it. So like I understand, like so you know, I expect us to get, you know, a decent amount of stuff done for like we'll just be working on this, probably the writing for at least a year, but
yeah, exactly.
We'll also be working on like the things that we can, because like the detective is going to need his own type of blaster, you know, and then the droid is we're going to need to like 3D print the droid. So when we actually do go film and stuff, you know, people aren't just looking at a tennis ball. You know, that's the other thing I want to avoid, is like just green screen and all that kind of stuff. So there's a bunch of little things that we've got to like build. But it's doing that in that attention to detail that will like raise the quality bar. So I see probably working on this project for like at least a year or two, because eventually, you know, I'll need to get to where there's like I've got some studio or a place to at least do the shooting at, because that's when you burn all your money. So we can like, if we plan really well and get everything, you know, ahead of time, then when we get all the actors and all the camera folk and the sound folk and everybody together to do the filming, like that's when we're spending the most money. So we've got to like have a decent amount of just about everything planned out. It's like, okay, on this day we're going to do this, and this day we'll do that, and we've got like 2 days of padding in case something goes wrong and all that kind of stuff. But it's like I thought of doing this after I got done like watching maybe like 100 hours of content on YouTube on like the acolyte of like what not to do. It's like people have built entire YouTube careers off of dissing like Disney Star Wars, and rightly so. Like the quality is just not there compared to other things, but it's like I couldn't ever bring myself to make kind of content like that, because like I would much rather like make the thing that is better. You know what I mean? Like and there's a like I like the people that make this critical content, because I learn a lot from it, and I find it extremely entertaining. But at the same time, I think maybe years ago people were like, why don't you do like reviews or something next? I'm just like, you know, I mean, there's people that do that better, and like I would like rather make something and get reviews on it than write a review for something else. I guess that's basically,
exactly.
That's just me personally, right? I love all the content creators out there, especially like It's a Gundam. That motherfucker's so funny. Oh man, Critical Drinker, he's a good guy. So even Star Wars Theory and all the shit that he got from the press just for, you know, posting some videos of like being critical of the franchise. So it's just, you know, it's just you know, the Thanos meme. Fine, I'll do it myself. Okay. All right. Well, I think this is this has turned out to be a good video, Fug. I appreciate you being there as an audience. I'm glad you're excited about this and you wanna work on it. I think the video definitely was enhanced quality wise, because I got somebody to talk to and chat to about this kind of stuff. So
sweet.
Yeah, we do it again for next video after I get a couple more things figured out. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. Fug, thank you for your time.
That's all good.
And then we can continue to chat as soon as I hit goodbye.